Yes. Here we
are.
We
did it. Yay.
All right, Dave. It's Mimosa Monday. How's your day going?
Mimosa Monday.
It's Mimosa Monday, yes.
Oh, okay.
I think we need some humor.
I missed it.
Why do they call coffee mud?
I have no clue.
Because it was ground a couple minutes ago.
Oh.
Ba-da-da-da. All right, the humor's not working today. I'll try singing.
Welcome to Coffee Talk Live, the show where independent coffee, smoothie, juice bar, ice cream, dessert, and snack shop owners come together to talk shop, learn the best business building and marketing ideas, and have lots of fun along the way.
All right. Rollin', rollin', rollin'. Keep those trucks a-rollin'. That's what we're talking about today, everybody. And we had a lot of people pre-register for today's Coffee Talk Live because we're talking about taking your business mobile. Imagine having your business on wheels. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, we're Stacey and Dave Riska, your Cups to Gallons champions. We want to make sure that this is fun and interactive for you. So make sure you ask questions, comment, let us know how we can help you out. Now, this is a really big topic, and we are not going to be able to adequately cover it in the next 20 minutes, but we will do our best to give you a high-level view of why you want to consider mobile marketing in your business. All right, Dave. Hold on one second, everybody. Are we live? I can't tell. Yes. Okay. Cannot see my comments here. Dave.
What?
Mobile marketing. Okay. Wouldn't it be great if you could just take your store, your coffee, smoothie, juice bar, ice cream shop, put it on wheels, and never have a bad day again? Wouldn't that be great? Now, that's not really how we started. We, probably like you, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into opening a brick and mortar store.
We did.
Opened the doors with a build it and they will come mentality. And they didn't really come. So, Dave, you want to tell the story of how and why we got into having four wheels as part of our business model?
I can tell the story. I think we told part of it before, a couple weeks ago, when we were doing an event. It was a soccer tournament, and we had 3 different fields we had to cover. And this was an outdoor event, and each of the locations had to be covered, tented. And we needed to have our, all of our supplies, everything at each one of these. And it torrentially poured the night before the soccer tournament. I mean, I don't know, we got 5 inches of rain in 4 hours or something like that. It was ridiculous. And so we're rolling out there the next day, all happy because the tournament was canceled. And we have 3 fields that we had unloaded all the stuff the day before that we have to go back and pick up all of our stuff, load it, and bring it back. And we were driving to the first field, and I look over, and there's this parking lot on the side of the road. And in this parking lot, I see an ice cream truck with a for sale sign on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, how great would it be to just drive up to one of our events, park our truck, and when we're done, just drive it away instead of packing all this stuff onto a trailer and hauling it back. And guess what we did? We went out and got a food truck.
We did. Let's share a picture of what that looks like for everybody. Now, this is, bear with us, technology. Let's see if we can get this to work. So I'm going to share my screen. And let's see if we can show them what our nifty food truck looks like. All right. Can you guys see the screen? This is our food truck that we had down in D.C., right in front of the Washington Monument, a tourist mecca. And imagine being able to walk up and get a coffee or a smoothie. Because if you've been down in D.C. at all, it is kind of trailer trash down there. They have these old 1950 trailers with just junk food in them. And so this truck got a lot of attention. So I'm going to minimize this and come back to us. And Dave, go ahead and keep talking because I'm not sure we are going live.
I think we're having some technical difficulties here. I believe we are hopefully live. It says we're live.
It says we're live. All right. We'll assume we're live. Who knows? Are we live? Can you comment? Are we live? If you're watching this, give us a thumbs up, a hello.
Click on the eyeballs.
I am clicking on the eyeballs, and nobody's there, which is what makes me a little bit concerned, because this kind of is running out. So, we'll keep going.
All right, we're going to keep going. We don't know if we're live or not.
I don't know if you're seeing the picture because I'm not seeing it come up on the other.
Yeah, I think we're having technical difficulties here this evening. So.
Okay. If we need to redo this one, we will redo this one. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons about having a mobile business. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. It's official. We're live. All right. So anyway, we decided that day that we were going to go out and get a food truck. Now, we didn't buy the ice cream truck that was on the side of the road, but we did decide that this was an appropriate way to change our business. And so we're going to talk to you today about what the process was of identifying and finding a food truck, what the options are as far as, do you go used, do you go new, how do you build it out, what about the health department, and so on and so forth. So we're going to cover a lot of material today. What we are not going to cover today is how to market your food truck. So we'll get to that in a different episode. So we'll talk to you about how we got a food truck, why we got a food truck, and what that food truck meant to us. And actually, we had 3 of them at one point in time. So.
Okay, so I have a comment. Yolana, thank you so much for sharing. She can see us, but she couldn't see the picture. So let's see if I can share a picture of our food truck with you again. So this is our food truck. And let me see if I come over here. I might just have to post it in the group later. So this is a copy. This is a picture of our food truck down in Washington, D.C. in front of the Washington Monument, but I don't think it's being streamed out.
I don't believe it is.
Yeah,
either,
okay. So we won't be able to share the pictures. So we'll just go into the details today and we'll post our pictures in the group later. So Dave, why, if you're going to have 4 wheels to your business, most people on with us tonight, they're brick and mortar locations. Why would they want to consider going mobile?
That's a great question. One of the reasons, and probably the biggest reason you would consider going mobile is if you're planning on doing events anyway, number one. And number 2 is the biggest reason is it allows you to bring your store to them. And you can pretty much take it anywhere that is legal. There are some restrictions. And you can operate your business right from that truck 100% if you want to.
So you never have a bad day, right? Because you pull up somewhere and if you're not doing well, guess what? You just go somewhere else.
That's right.
Now you can't do that in a brick and mortar, right? You're signing 5, sometimes 10-year leases. So the nice thing about being mobile, whether it's a trailer or a food truck, is you can never have a bad day. You just go somewhere else.
Yep, you can pull up, as I said, and not just that. Not only is it mobile and you can change your location depending on, how you're doing there at that particular location. But the great thing about a food truck is that you're really getting, as we've said many times, your products into people's hands. And what ends up happening is when you give them those great products, it's inevitable they ask 2 questions. What are the 2 questions?
Where can I get this?
Where can I get this? And
do you cater?
Do you cater?
Yeah.
Right? So you get the opportunity to be in front of a lot more people than you would be in front of if you're just, at a stationary location like a store. So it's a great piece of marketing for your brick and mortar. It drove a lot of traffic. Believe it or not, it drove a lot of traffic to our airport stands. People would ask, where are you located? Well, we have 2. You're in Dallas. Oh, stop by there. I stopped by there. They would tell me this, like after they went there. They're like, oh, I stopped by your stand. I got a smoothie. So it really, really, truly not only is a great way to do business, but it's a great way to get business for your business.
Yep. You know what I like about it? Ching, ching, cha-ching. It's a cash-based business. Whereas in your store, you're likely ringing everything up on the POS system, and you want to do that. But when you're mobile, it's a lot more cash-based, and we all love that cash, right?
The green is good. It looks good.
Green is my favorite color.
And that has changed, though, over the years because of Square and the other, terminal readers. A lot more people today pay, even at our food truck, with credit cards. But back in the day, when we first started this, and just to give you some perspective, I think it was roughly, 2009 maybe? When did we get our first food truck? We were one of the first food trucks in the Washington, D.C. area, that I can tell you, because we were down at the mall, and there was no other trucks around other than what Stacey was saying, which is the pre-approved, I don't even know what you want to call them, stands that were down there. We were one of the first ones down there before they, became such a big thing in this area, at least.
Yep. And another reason why to consider going mobile is it's really a business model in and of itself.
That's right.
So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. If you haven't yet opened up a brick and mortar store, it's a great way to test out your concept. It's a great way to see if people are going to like your products. It's a great way to do your market research and ask questions and find out if the area where you're actually thinking of setting up a brick and mortar is a good area, is a good location. You could park your truck where you envision your store is going to be and see how much traffic you get. And actually, we used to have 3 food trucks. We sold one of them, and the guy who bought it, he was actually doing this. He was buying our truck, taking it out to California to test his concept of smoothies and coffees before investing and opening up a store. So it's a great way to do that. Now, if you already have a store, it's a great model as well. In addition to your brick and mortar, you can perhaps go out in the mornings, during lunchtime, late afternoon, evenings, even the bar scene, right? People afterwards always are starving. They want something to eat or drink. So you have the flexibility to pick where and when you want to go out.
We'll give you a great one. We had one of our best nights ever. It was Thanksgiving, Black Friday evening. And we went out and parked in front of a Best Buy while they were lined up around the block. Now, this is before they opened at 6:00 on Black Friday. But the people they were lined up around the block. It was cold, and it was the funniest thing because we didn't really bring a lot of food. It was Thanksgiving, right? You're thinking, oh my God, everybody just stuffed their face. We're not going to bring a lot of food. Well, guess what? Everybody wanted food, so we had one of our funnest and best events ever just being there. And they were so grateful that we were there because nobody else was. Nobody was open. It was 12:00 at night. So,
right. That's
so you can open up anytime, anywhere.
Right. So another model, whether you have a store or if you don't have a store, being mobile, you can then do events. And we did previous Coffee Talk Lives about how to do events. Maybe that's fairs and festivals. Maybe it's pools. Maybe it's churches. You pick your niche of what you want to do, but being mobile, you can do those types of events. And for us, sporting events were one type of event where we did very well. because you bring the truck out into the middle of a soccer field where you have a captive audience all day long. These people are there for these tournaments, whether it's soccer, lacrosse, baseball, and they're hungry, they're thirsty, they want something to eat and drink. And so you have a captive audience when you're out there all day.
And the nice thing is when you're done, you just drive away.
Right. Right.
You clean up a little bit, right? And you drive away. You don't have to pack all this stuff back up. If you're under a tent, put it on a trailer and then drive away. So it would save, at least an hour to an hour and a half before and after every event we've done.
Now, another way that you can go mobile is doing routes. So this is what most people in the food truck business do. They have routes. They just take their truck and they drive around and they park and they post out on social media where they're going to be. So you can either do this randomly, like just go and pull up somewhere, or actually you can coordinate with property managers and business parks. A lot of the industrial areas love this kind of thing because their people don't have time to go out. Usually they have to drive to go somewhere to get something to eat or drink. And if you coordinate with them saying that you're bringing the truck on site, they are just so gracious to you. That's enough. You can set up routes where and you could even post this on your website or on social where you're going to be at what day and time.
So you can clearly see how your food truck can be its own business model. We did not intend it that way when we started, but we very quickly learned that it was a business in and of itself. And it was a very lucrative business, still is a lucrative business to this day. And guess what? We even use our trucks for catering. That's
exactly,
right.
Catering.
That's absolutely right. They ask for it. Some people will say, can you bring your truck?
A lot of businesses, they want just the truck because now there's a whole food truck craze. You probably have food trucks in your areas. They even have movies about food trucks. They have shows about food trucks. So this is like a whole new way of all different kinds of cuisines.
Right. They have websites for food trucks. They have all kinds of ways to market food trucks. We'll get into that. So Stacey, let's talk about, when we started, what did it cost us? I mean, what was the investment and how did we go about, finding a food truck, building out the food truck, and getting the food truck on the road?
Yeah, I'm sure the cost is always a big question we get asked. So there's sort of different variables. If you're going to do catering, we're always asked, well, how much does it cost? You can probably get started in catering easily for less than $5,000. A food truck, well, there's really two ways to think about, and we use the food truck term generically because there's really two ways that you can do it. One is you can do a trailer. And if we were able to share the pictures on our computer, we could show what our trailer looked like. And actually, Mark and Debbie Becker had sent me a copy of a picture of their trailer. So I wanted to show you sort of the difference because a trailer is an enclosed trailer, right? You can't drive it, which means that you then have to have a vehicle to tow it. So for us, that was actually a negative as we got started in our business. We had a large Yukon Denali and a 16-foot trailer that we would pull behind. But Dave and I were the only ones who could then drive that. So because we weren't going to have a 16-year-old being tasked with that kind of responsibility, much less driving on the roads of Washington, D.C., the worst traffic in the entire country. So we then found ourselves strapped to always having to take the trailer out whenever we wanted to do an event. So with a trailer, you have to realize it's not just the trailer, you have to vehicle to tow it. Now, a trailer will give you more room inside, but then you have to have the plumbing, the electrical, everything, the sinks and everything that the health department requires. With a food truck, it's self-contained. So we went with, it's called a box truck, but basically a UPS style truck that we had built out. We found a guy who in our area just does this on the side. He builds out trucks. So things you're going to want to consider is, and before you do it, check with your health department because they all have different requirements. But you're going to want to make sure that you have sinks. You need a 3-bay sink and you need a hand washing sink. You need plumbing you need plumbing for the water intake and you need plumbing for the water out tank. And your out tank has to be at least 15% bigger than your intake. You need electrical, right? Which means you're going to need a generator and you're going to want a powerful enough generator to run coffee equipment, which can pull a lot of power. So I'm babbling on, but basically you also have the choice of between, are you going to buy a new truck? Because you can literally have one built out, custom made for you. You could buy a used truck or you could buy a gutted one and build it out yourself. We went with the gutted one and built it out ourselves, and it cost about $25,000 to build it out. The truck itself cost us about $6,000, and we got one with really low miles. We got a UPS diesel truck with only 43,000 miles. And for diesel, that's nothing because these things run to like 600,000 miles. So we bought the truck for $6,000. We paid to have the entire thing built out with cabinets, the electrical. We have a chest freezer, a refrigerator. We put equipment in there, did the whole wrapping of it. We had Honda 6000 generator mounted on the top. So all inclusive, that cost us about $25,000. Now, if you're going to have one brand new, like really custom built out, they can easily run upwards of $50,000.
Yeah, even higher than that. We've seen some 75, 80. It depends on what you're serving, really. But if you're serving, coffee, juices, snacks, those types of things, you're looking at about $25,000 to $50,000. Now, I'm going to give you a couple quick differences between a trailer and a truck. So the one thing about a truck is that once your truck is parked, you're there. You're stuck, right? So if you have a trailer and you're pulling a trailer and you have a truck that can detach from the trailer and you drop the trailer off, you have an extra vehicle that sometimes can come in handy. There were plenty of times where we would be at an event or something like that and we needed ice. We ran out of ice, believe it or not. We would have 60 bags of ice and we'd still run out of ice. And, if we didn't make preparations in advance and know this, we wouldn't have been able to just pull our truck away and go get ice, right? So one thing to consider is that you may want to have a second vehicle there. Somebody who's maybe an employee that's working for you or something like that. Just have a second vehicle somewhere nearby in case you need to go get some supplies, in case you're short or you've forgotten something. That is the one downside to a truck versus a trailer. But that's about it. Other than that, do you have more?
Yeah, because with a trailer, I remember a few times. The thing about it is when a lot of times they'll make you detach the car from the trailer. So like if you go into these situations where you're at an event, like a fair or a festival, and you detach your vehicle, then a lot of times it can be really hard to get back in there afterwards to reattach it. I remember a few times where we got stuck.
That's a good point. When that weather, and just getting back to where you were because everybody else is either leaving or they've got it blocked off, or depending on the type of event it is, you might have to wait till everybody leaves before you can pull your detached truck back into where your location is to pick up your trailer. So that there are some disadvantages of a trailer. They basically can operate the same way. And in general, they're going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of about the same thing. I mean, trailer probably could be a little bit less,
Well, the thing, a trailer may cost you less, but you have to have the vehicle to tow it. And you need a high-end truck to pull it.
So, one of the questions, that we get asked a lot about trucks is new versus used. And so our opinion was we went used. We're not discouraging you from going the new route. Used has its upsides. New has its upsides. It really depends on, what you want, and how long you're committing to using, trucks in your business. We have had great success getting used trucks and building them out ourselves. We have lots of people who have gone out and bought brand new trucks, had them completely built out, and they're absolutely beautiful. I mean, they're pristine, so it's really, how you feel about it has a lot to do with that. You definitely are going to want to make sure that you get a good power supply for your truck or your trailer. Some people use propane. We did not use propane because we really didn't cook anything. We used a very high-end generator. On one of our trucks, we actually have 2 generators. All right, so there's a lot that goes into planning out the power on a vehicle like this, particularly if you're running coffee machines and blenders and things like that, like we do. They pull a lot of amperage, and you have to plan for that in the design of your vehicle. So those are some of the things to be cautious about.
Okay. And so when you are toying about with new or used and you're leaning more towards used, a few resources that you can look at. One is Craigslist. That is people are always on Craigslist selling used food trucks, especially now that they're more commonplace. And so I would even encourage you to look outside of your area, because now there's national clearinghouses that, can sell these types of vehicles. Also, there's 2 websites I wanted to mention. One is cruisingkitchen.com. And this website is more based on customizing a built-out truck for you. So if you want to go down the new route, that would be a website to look at. And then there's a website called Roaming Hunger. And this is actually a website where once you get your food truck established, it's a great way to get catering jobs for your food truck. But they've just added on a marketplace where you can people buy and sell their trucks. So go to roaminghunger.com/marketplace, and you may be able to find a coffee truck that's already built out and get a really good deal on it.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to check in and see if we have any questions. Looks like we are fine on the questions. So let's maybe leave them with some closing thoughts. So again, mobile marketing is a great add-on to your business. You can certainly do it as a standalone business. You can do it in pre-testing out, like market research, to find out if you would want to open up a store. You can use it just for events. You can use it just for routes. You can use it just for catering. So there's so many ways that you can do it. Before you jump out and just buy one, though, check with your health department. Understand the zoning and the health department requirements. So, for example, even here in Washington, D.C., back in the day, you could pull up your truck anywhere and it was no big deal. Now, there's actually a lottery system. You cannot just go down there and park your car. They will literally tow you off to jail. And believe that was another story I'll tell you about another day. But they have very strict rules about it. Even in the suburbs, they have rules about where you can park and how long you can park and such and such. So make sure you know your zoning laws, make sure you know your health department requirements. They vary from area to area.
Literally county to county. And, it's important that, when you get your food truck, that you have it made so that it will pass the toughest of the county's health department rules for that particular area that you're in, because it's really hard to go back and add stuff to it afterwards if you have one county that has different requirements than another. And we have many counties where we are. So we went with, making our truck, the overall configuration of it to pass what we would consider to be the worst of the county's health department's requirements. We built that truck. And the zoning is really important. We say you can just drive it up and park it anywhere. Well, that's true and not true. You can't just do that anywhere. There are restrictions in some areas. Most of the major cities have restrictions. But the point is that it is not set in one place. You can always do routes. You can always go business to business in most cases, as long as there's an open parking spot somewhere. But be human about it.
And I would say, know your budget going in of what you have to work with, but make sure you leave a good amount in your budget to wrap the truck, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's your first impression. And you've heard us say it so many times, like we have caused accidents with our trucks because they're so bright and attractive. And people like, they're literally driving and pointing, or they take pictures on their cell phones. So you want something that's visually appealing, because, you know, you don't just want the truck itself. You need to get it wrapped, and you want to get a quality wrap so that it lasts a long time.
Yeah, you really do. You want to, don't go cheap here. I mean, we have our oldest truck. Again, I think it was 2009-ish. The wrap on the truck is now 11 years old, and it looks pretty much is just about as good as it did the day we bought it, because we paid for an expensive wrap, but the wrap is everything. It will absolutely make or break your truck over any other truck. If you brought it in a lot of these events, there's a lot of other vendors, and if you want to stick out, this is the way to do it.
All right, so there you have it. We've talked a lot about mobile marketing, why do it, the pros and cons, the costs, and things you need to think about. So next week, actually on March the 2nd, Roger Vandevert from California is going to be joining us live, and he has the cutest little mini mobile coffee cart. And so he's going to be talking about how he got into the business, how he uses it, how he markets. And you're welcome to join us live, ask questions. And as always, we're here to help you cater your way to success. Any closing words, Dave?
Nope, nothing from me. Get a food truck.
Get a food truck. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're Dave and Stacey Riska, your Cups to Gallons champions, here to help you go from cups.
I get the gallons to gallons.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Attention coffee, smoothie, juice bar, ice cream, dessert, and snack shop owners. Are you sick of selling one cup at a time? It's time to learn how a 5-letter word can transform your business so you can go from cups to gallons. Come join the free Cups to Gallons Facebook group so you can learn to cater your way to success and go from cups to gallons. Join us at cupstogallons.com/group. That's cupstogallons.com/group.